18 knots.
Bot 308, bot 217, ready to start up, ready to start up. London Heathrow startup. This is Bot 308. London position start 127 information position 540 styles information 9 start position 515 information start approved Frank Bravo Craig runway start 27L fly runway heading squawk 163 for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.97L London fly runway heading squawk 163 for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.97L London runway heading squawk 163 for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.90 London Heathrow startup control. London Heathrow startup approved Bravo correct runway 27L fly runway heading squawk 163 for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.90 Bot 308. London Heathrow startup approved Bravo correct runway 27L fly runway heading squawk 163, for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.90, bot 217. London Heathrow startup approved, Bravo correct, runway 27L, fly runway heading squawk 163, for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.90, BA 904. London Heathrow startup, switching to 121.90, BA 308. London Heathrow startup, switching to 121.90, BA 217. London Heathrow startup, switching to 121.90, BA 904.
2500.
London Heathrow startup, with you, BA 308. London Heathrow startup, with you, BA 217. BA 308, Rockshire, London Heathrow startup. BA 217, Rockshire, London Heathrow startup. London Heathrow startup, with you, BA 904. BA 904, Rockshire, London Heathrow startup. London Heathrow startup, request pushback, BA 308. London Heathrow startup, request pushback, BA 217. London Heathrow startup, request pushback, BA 904. BA 308, pushback approved, London Heathrow startup. BA 217, pushback approved, London Heathrow startup. BA 904, pushback approved, London Heathrow startup. London Heathrow ground, ready to taxi, BA 308. BA 308, clear to taxi, London Heathrow ground. London Heathrow ground, clear to taxi, BA 308.
Too low, terrain.
London Heathrow ground, ready to taxi, BA 904.
Too low, flaps.
London Heathrow ground, ready to
Too low,
taxi,
flaps.
BA 217. BA 217, clear to taxi, London Heathrow ground. London Heathrow ground,
100.
clear to taxi, BA 217. BA 904, clear to
20.
taxi, London Heathrow ground. London Heathrow ground, clear to taxi, BA 904. BA 992, ready to start up. BA 235, ready to start up. BA 886, ready to start up. LH 2473, ready to start up. London Heathrow startup, this is BA 992, position 526, information Bravo, IFR to Berlin Tegel, request startup. London Heathrow startup, this is BA 235, position 509, information Bravo, IFR to Moscow Domodedovo, request startup. London Heathrow startup, this is BA 886, position 512, information Bravo, IFR to Bucharest Oto Penny Intel, request startup. London Heathrow startup, this is LH 2473, position 517, information Bravo, IFR to München France Joseph Strauss, request startup. BA 992, startup approved, Bravo correct, runway 27L, fly runway heading squawk 163, for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.90, London Heathrow startup control. BA 235, startup approved, Bravo correct, runway 27L, fly runway heading squawk 163, for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.90, London Heathrow startup control. BA 886, startup approved, Bravo correct, runway 27L, fly runway heading squawk 163, for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.90, London Heathrow startup control. LH 2473, startup approved, Bravo correct, runway 27L, fly runway heading squawk 163, for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.90, London Heathrow startup control. London Heathrow startup approved, Bravo correct, runway 27L, fly runway heading squawk 163, for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.90, on N92. London Heathrow startup approved, Bravo correct, runway 27L, fly runway heading squawk 163, for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.90, got 235. London Heathrow startup approved, Bravo correct, runway 27L, fly runway heading squawk 163, for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.90, got 886. London Heathrow startup approved, Bravo correct, runway 27L, fly runway heading squawk 163, for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.90, LH2473. London Heathrow startup, switching to 121.90, on I-92. London Heathrow startup, switching to 121.90, bot 235. London Heathrow startup, switching to 121.90, bot 886. London Heathrow startup, with you, on I-92. London Heathrow startup, with you, bot 235. On I-92, Roger, London Heathrow startup. Bot 235, Roger, London Heathrow startup. London Heathrow startup, with you, bot 886. Bot 886, ground. Bot 235, pushback approved, London Heathrow startup. London Heathrow ground, holding position, bot 308. Bot 886, pushback approved, London Heathrow startup. LH2473, pushback approved, London Heathrow ground, ready to taxi, on I-92, clear to taxi, London Heathrow ground, clear to taxi, London Heathrow ground, ready to taxi, Bot 235, clear to taxi, London Heathrow ground, clear to taxi, London Heathrow 35, ready to taxi, Bot 886, clear to taxi, London Heathrow ground, clear to taxi, London Heathrow ground, ready to taxi, LH2473, clear to taxi, London Heathrow ground, clear to taxi, LH2473. Bot 308, resume taxiing, London Heathrow ground. London Heathrow ground, continuing taxi, Bot 308. Shamrock 155, ready to start up. London Heathrow startup, this is Shamrock 155, position 420, information Bravo, IFR to Dublin, request startup. Shamrock 155, startup approved, Bravo correct, runway 27L, fly runway heading squawk 163, for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.90, London Heathrow startup control. London Heathrow startup approved, Bravo correct, runway 27L, fly runway heading squawk 165, SM 2000 Shamrock 155 is in taxi and runway taxi, Shamrock 1 IFR to Halifax Intel, request startup. London Heathrow startup, this is Eurotrans 2215, position 603, information Bravo, IFR to Leipzig PAL, request startup. SM 2094, startup approved, Bravo correct, runway 27L, fly runway heading squawk 163, for Bravo correct, runway 27L, start fly runway heading squawk 163, start heading squawk 163, 127L, fly runway heading squawk 161.90, start fly runway heading squawk 161.90, start and taxi 1 start 21.90, start 2009 T4